started out in the film industry?
Well, I think it's been wonderful. Everything I'm going to say, this is a disclaimer, I'm saying out of my own experience. It's been amazing. From the time we started to where we are now, the time I remember when the thought came to me that I needed to do film, I was actually still in high school. I was going through a couple of things, and the only way I would deal through, there were two ways. Either I get a piece of paper and write down whatever it is I was feeling, or I go on the street and experience everything I was thinking in my head, which I know for a fact had I done even 10% of what I was thinking, I would not be alive today. So from then to now, to me being here, I think it's been amazing, and if we keep at it, it's going to even be better.
Thank you. To Nebuiso, what has been your journey like? Because I remember watching you from the hostel. Oh my God. Omano locally.
Yeah. Oh wow. First, I'm so happy to see all the women here. It's amazing that the number keeps growing. My journey is quite something. The struggles of joining arts as a woman. My father is a reverend. My mother was a teacher. And I remember trying to convince my parents that art pays for so long. And it was perceived as that, what's the other job you do, you know? I could say I'm an actress, and they say, what else? I'm like, I'm an actress, that's it. So for me, from being a presenter on WBS at an age of 19 years, to joining the hostel series at, I think I was 20 years, to growing before everybody, the pressure that comes with society to be perfect, to keep doing your best. But what drives me most is if I'm good at something, I'll make it better. I won't let it rest until my better is best. So for me, the journey, thank you. The journey I would say is more of a progressive journey. I don't give the devil publicity, but then I would say it's just challenging to just kind of push yourself as that woman who is trying to do your best in the industry. You know, the backlash, that you can't do this kind of thing, and film was never a thing in university here. We're more of self-taught. So I chose to say, well, I'll find all the classes online. I'll go to YouTube. My free time, I'm always going to the directors' classes on YouTube. There's something called the Mean Directors. There are all these free master classes with multi-choice. And I've done all these classes just to better my game. So when I sit on a table of men or women, my art is respected.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I'd like to ask the young ladies, I like how this is balanced out. How has it been for you so far? Because I believe the people who joined like years ago may have a totally different story. I know if Mariam was here, she'd tell us a totally different story. But I'd like to hear from you, both of you. What has it been like so far?
As a person who changed career, I feel like when she talked about self-taught, I feel like we should also encourage career guidance in our schools, such that women don't just meander around careers like as I did. I was a journalist. I studied journalism. I practiced journalism with Galax for years back until I transformed. As you know, art is a human communication. So, and film is one of it. And I'm grateful that I've explored most of the art. Podcasts, I started podcasts with Berlin School of Podcasts. I went to animation through an opportunity with African Cartoon Network, with Creatures Animation. So this has been, for the past few years, I've put myself to be a filmmaker, not to be a self-taught filmmaker, a filmmaker who goes and studies this and understands this. So I feel like, to me, it's something which I wish our curriculum in schools we put in career guidance and we emphasize on film, not other careers, which we are all proud to say, oh, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer. End of the day, film is business. So to me, I feel like as a woman who's still aspiring, and I love arts, as you can see, I love arts, and I love fashion, it's part of me, I just feel it, because I believe art is value, purpose, and life. So to me, I feel like it's career guidance to all of us, because I get a lot of university students contacting me, how did you join film? I want to be like you. It's not about being like me, it's about being mentored, because I'm lucky I've been mentored with the best people. And what I urge women here, we shouldn't be competing with men in the industry, because we all need that mind, the knowledge. We should be coexisting with men, because to me to be here, it has been a man. Women just come in along the way, but it has all been a man who gave me the opportunity to apply and go to University of Cape Town and study film. That was 2018, and that's when I met Nabwiso. I made my first film called Out from the Dark. It's about mental health, and people should also consider the mental health of women in film, because at the end of the day, we all like therapists. A lot of films we take and hear, it tends to be like we are entering into those people's lives. So if we also care about our mental health as women, I think this is going to go on. That's what I can say for now.
Thank you.
So my journey, I don't know if it would be particularly different, because when I started acting at 8, oh, actually, yeah, kind of. When I started acting at 8, my first project was an international film, but unfortunately film...
Oh, the good people.
Thank you. Kuman, God was really coming through. But after that, the film industry in Uganda was still growing, so it didn't have as much...
What project was that?
It was called Journey to Jama by World Vision. It was directed by Michael Landon Jr. and Brian Budd. So
Ladies, do you know those people?
you don't know them. If there's one person in this room who knows them, I would give you money.
People, there's money here. There's money here. There's money here.
So after that, I guess I had high expectations, especially as a child, because I was like, oh, maybe this thing actually pays. But Uganda was still growing, and the projects I did after that were mostly pro bono. Although I'm proud to say that the industry has grown so much to the extent that now I have one job, and it's a job that pays me, and I'm an actress, and that's how I earn my money. So I would say that there's been exponential growth in the industry, and I'm encouraged that it will continue to grow even as we have greater organizations coming in to help finance film, and even bodies like UCC, which have been very instrumental in helping film tell stories that we want the world to hear. Yeah.
Thank you. Do you feel that women are better storytellers?
Wow, it's a trick question, eh? I don't think storytelling is dependent on gender. I feel like every story is best told by the person who experienced it, and I feel like the fact that women are getting empowered enough to tell their stories is beautiful, and I think that's what we should focus on, as opposed to if we tell stories better than men, because our experiences are different. We go through things that men don't. So I think the focus should be on the fact that we are now able to tell our stories, however different they are from men. Yeah.
Thank you. To Nabwiso, you see the other name, pronouncing it, we may need to go into R's, L's, so we're going to use the honor of Nabwiso. You are a producer and also an actress. How is it working with women? Because we are talking about amplifying women's voices in storytelling. How is it working with women?
It's actually beautiful.
Amazing.
So I've always had a dream where there'll be so many women doing this. In 2019, I did the first all-female made crew movie, Bed of Thorns. Yeah. I gathered so many women, we came together, made up a script and filmed it. I remember 2 of us were heavily pregnant. The sound person was trying to figure things out. And I said to myself, if we can all just produce this one movie and make it a huge success, then many more women will be encouraged to join the industry. And I think even after that, I had many more women come into all our projects. So we make sure that every movie or series we make, I have to go to the field with a woman, either on crew. Of course, cast is obvious because the women have been fronted as the ones in front of the camera, but it's beautiful seeing women behind the camera. So we've trained a couple of people to grow into directors, producers, and mostly actresses as well. So for me, it's been awesome working with women, and I feel like if you sit together and understand what you're going to work for, and you know the vision of what you're working for, the vision, it's important to know what's ahead than looking at what's now. Because usually as women, we always say, now, now, now. And you're thinking, can we look like at December, when we premiere this maybe, and we get sales and we do all this, what the future might hold for us, what's the bigger picture? So I think if women have a vision together, it's powerful.
Okay. Yeah. So it's about having a clear vision. So when you have a clear vision, that means the women will be able to rally behind you and work well. Is that true? Ladies, so is that true? That if there is a clear vision, you can work well? If there's no clear vision, that's when you're like, things are not working for us. Is that the case? So they're in agreement. So it's very good for us to have a clear vision. And working with now other people in the industry, do we always have a clear vision when we're producing our films?
So far, so good, I must say. The beginning was more of a passion. I wake up, I have my script, it's haphazard, I've written it, and I've got a group of people, let's do this. We do it, and then along the way you realize, how did they move from the house and now it's on Kampala Road? You're like, but me when I was writing, I saw it. And then you put things together, you craft it together, it was so disorganized, and then finally when the edited first draft comes out, you're in awe, and you're thinking, now we produce the vision. Now that it's a perfect movie, let's go to cinema, after we can show it here and there, and then it dies. It dies because we didn't plan our vision ahead. What was the marketing strategy? What was our target audience? What was our story like? Who was going to relate to the story? Is it women or men? Am I targeting children? So the script comes out and you're thinking, there was no vision for this movie. That's why it's on my laptop and it's dead. So the vision has to start from pre-production. What's my story? What's the title? What's the treatment? Who's going to watch it? Will it sell off? Can I have people coming for my premiere and pay money? So I think the vision has to be done way before anything is put on paper. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Now to Laura. Oh, you said you prefer Lucky, sorry.
No, it's okay.
To Lucky, do you feel or do you think or have you seen that women, their voices are heard in production?
Wow. I think that's a 50-50. Like I said, everything I am speaking about, I am speaking out of experience. So if this is not the case for you, please do not hold me against it. And unfortunately, I'm not one to just, brush about the story. So it's 50-50. There is still a lot. I think one of the ladies talked about it. There is still a lot of incidences where women have to prove themselves when they don't need to. That's why I'm saying it's 50-50. Like you have to really work 10 times harder for people to just not see a woman on set. To see beyond, the pretty face, the hair, and really listen to what you're talking about. This is from my experience. Why I say from my experience is that the time I was on set, I've actually stepped away from set work since 2019, and I think it's partly because of what you're asking about, where you run out of things to explain yourself over most of the time, especially when you're around the male colleagues. Yeah, the other advantage we have is that because we are women, we are multitaskers. 10 times we see ahead of whatever it is that's happening now. But for you to tell someone this and this is happening, but if you're doing it like this, you're going to land here, yet you want to be here. And they'll be like, goyo mukazi chicha amanyi, you know? So it's a 50-50. We've been working hard. Voices are being heard, yes. I would wish they'll be heard more. I wish we didn't have to explain ourselves more, because then when we waste a lot of time. Case in point, there was a project I was on years back where a couple of things happened when you're on set, obviously, and I was personally forced to push a lot of people, an entire team, to work for us to be able to finish the project and do it well. And a lot of people did it not because they wanted to, but because they wanted to finish it. But when it was done, it was so good, they were so happy. And the gentleman walked to me 3 years past the project and was like, lucky. I don't know if we would have done this project if it wasn't for you. And then I kept thinking, I was very grateful he said that, but I kept thinking to myself, imagine where we would have been if you saw what I saw 3 years ago, you know? And for you to have come to that realization 3 years later. So if only they hear us more, if only they get to understand us more and to just really get into our brains, not whatever it is that they see, I think we would be way far. We are in a good place. We could be in a much better place.
Okay, thank you. Yes, please, you can.
Sorry, I had to jump on this. Listen, I have grown to put my foot into a room. I think women hold back because they don't know what they're going to say or what to do. I've been on sets with very strong DOPs, very, names are up there on the boards. But I'm going to do my research in the car before I come on this set. Because I know men will be like, move over, Mukazi Tamanyi, she doesn't know. Can I show you what I'm going to do? I said, no, let me show you what I want to do. Okay. And because I've done my research and I know my craft before I come to work with you as a man, you're going to respect me.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's work.
Thank you. So that means that we as women, if we want to be heard, one, we have to speak up. And we have to be knowledgeable. We have to be knowledgeable. So, and you have to be confident. So why we as women, why are we afraid of speaking up in such spaces? Could you maybe share some of the reasons? Because you could find you actually know what you want, or the DOP is doing something, or the director is saying something, and you're all on set, but then you prefer something else, and this is what I want, but they're doing something different. And then at the end of the day, the project, let's say you're the producer, and they give you something you did not want to see, or really messed up. I had a lady complain like, I told the DOP, what you're doing is wrong, and they insisted to do it. And at the end of the project, we had to reshoot. So what advice would you give? How do you go about that?
Should I say? So I've built something called protocol. And you cannot run an organization without protocol. Same as a film set, if you're an independent director or producer, you need protocol. You have to stand up and say, let's have one voice. If I'm the director, I planned for this day. I'm a producer, I planned for this project. So why would the DOP come tell me what he wants when I want something else? It's my vision, remember? So there's protocol. People who work with me know if you have a problem with costume, don't come to my inbox. There's a person in charge of costume. There's a person in charge of crew, and every department has a head. So by the time it gets to me as a producer, then you guys have all failed, and I'm going to come in. But if protocol is observed, I think it's possible.
Lewis, so you're lucky that you're in a certain position and you've grown that muscle. Now imagine you're talking to a lady in this room or out there who is new in the industry or trying to find their ground, and they've been hired, but they have the knowledge, they want to speak up, they want to contribute to the project, how do you go about it for your voice to be heard?
So again, it depends on what you've come to do for the project. If you're going to walk into a room and say for example, I have so many emails coming in. Hello, good evening, I want to be a writer. So what's my reply? I say okay or hi. Like, I think we were taught letter writing in our generations. The kids these days, whether you're a producer or COO or CEO, it's hi Irene, what's up? I want to come to UCC, I'm a writer. Like, what happened to protocol? Like, what happened to like writing that dear, you're sincerely, body, head, what's up? Even I got your number from so and so. I want to see you. See me for what? At 9 in the night, and when they see the blue ticks, then they call and you're like, she even call? You don't pick up, she's a snob. Like for me, I grew up in a generation of let's follow this kind of order. But I must tell a woman out there, if you want to do something and you're fresh in the industry or you're clean, I could refer to a story, my first gig, to help you understand the situation of knowing your craft before you enter. I went to the National Theatre and they were auditioning people for this show, K-Files. So I walk into this room, there are two gentlemen. I was really short now, I was 19. Short, small, but I would speak, because my mom taught me this whole confidential speaking. I get and say, hello, they say, want to be a producer? I mean, a presenter? I'm like, yeah. Show us something. So I said, I'm like, hi, my name is Aaron, and they're like, slow down. I'm like, that's how I speak. So this guy tells me, who is the manager of NTV? Honestly, my heart sank to the last straw. It came back up and I was like, I need to answer this because I really want this job. And he told me, get out, go find the name of the manager of NTV, and come back here. This is National Theatre. I walked out, I asked the border man, NTV ediwa? Who's a quality? I came down National Theatre, I said, NTV, so I went down the Winton, went back Owasi Small, came back to National Theatre, I said, around here, next Pandika NTV. So when I come back to the entrance of National Theatre, the guy there tells me, it was Serena. So now I go walk to Serena. This was now, Serena was the ish. I'm going there, I'm thinking, okay, hi, where is NTV? NTV? No, this is the hotel. So I walked out. The guard there tells me, there's a conference hall. There's like many offices in there. It could be there. And NTV was still fresh. Now WBS was the ish. So I walk in there, they're closing now. It's almost 5 something. I walk down the halls, ask people, NTV, and they show me, and then the door was closed. I said, but who is the manager? So they told me the name. Guys, the manager was the brother to the guy who was interviewing me. I find this out later. So I walk back and say the guy's name. Like, fine. So I go sit at the quadrangle and waited there. But I kept rehearsing, and girls kept coming out disappointed. So I walked back in, stood in front of them, and I did a presentation of a show, like I was presenting K-Files. Then I walked out. So I was thinking, okay, that was stupid of you. You don't just walk into an audition room and do something. How dare you? Anyway, I sit at National Theatre thinking, my career is screwed, I'm done. But this guy walks out and says, you did something very brave. Anyway, we'll see. And I'm like, see what? Can I just tell me if I'm getting the job or not? So, and I go home, and then the next day they call me, come, we're going to Gulu, you're presenting K-Files. I'm thinking, okay, but it's my confidence that made me walk back into that room to prove that I walked a mile around the place where NTV was actually just 2 minutes away to know what I had to know. So I would encourage someone, if you went for something, I have to curse, sorry, but someone came once and said, you should know your shit. He said it to my face and said, know your shit. Who is the manager? Who is the actress in this thing? Who did ABC? What do you want to do ahead? I want to be a writer. What's a synopsis? What's a log line? What's a treatment? How do you put a body in a story? Maybe, I'm like, and you're like, no, I can't help. Next person. let's know our craft before we come present it.
That's very nice, please.
To add on to what has said, know your craft, yes, but then also be extremely deliberate about it. Because we are in an industry that there's a lot of narrative that is said here and there. So even when you present it, and you need to know it so well. They used to tell us, the few film lessons that I had, know your character like the back of your hand. If I woke up right now and I asked you what's your favorite meal, you will tell me what it is. You need to know that about the story you're telling, so that when you get into a room and you're presenting it, whatever questions are thrown at you, you have an answer. And when you don't have an answer, because there's also room for growth. Someone can give you an idea about a story, or even when you're directing or doing whatever, and it's like, I think if we did A, B, C, D, something like this would happen, and be like, oh, I actually hadn't thought about that. That's possible. But if they realize you're not deliberate and you're not so sure about what you're talking about, that's how they end up convincing you to do their own idea instead of yours. I was I watch a lot of things. I watched something recently there's the strike, the writers' strike in Hollywood and all that stuff. There's a lady who made a video, it's on TikTok, and she said, I was once put in a room where we were presenting this show, and the feedback we got, because Emily in Paris, if any of you has watched it, was the hitting show at that time, they were like, so, yeah, your idea is really good, but if you could tweak it and just, make it like Emily in Paris. And the response was, I know Emily in Paris, I am not making Emily in Paris. This is what I am making. So if you're giving me feedback, give me feedback, but don't just, because you think the other one sells. So you see, she was confident enough to know, but then imagine being given that kind of example, and you don't even know the example. Then you start panicking, then all of a sudden you'll think, oh, Emily in Paris is the real deal, and you can never do anything else. We've been telling stories, people have been telling stories longer than we actually appeared on this earth, and there's going to be a lot of people telling even much better stories when we are gone. So you need to be extremely deliberate, be sure you know what you're talking about, but be open to receiving whatever criticism you're being given. Receive what you have to receive, and what you think doesn't build you, don't make it a thing.
Thank you so much. So we're running out of time, but what I've picked, you would like to say something?
Yeah. Okay. At the end of the day, adding on your point, we as women should learn to accept knowledge, not to listen, but to be present. Whenever someone is trying to talk to you, don't already think about answering what you don't know. It is us to be present. That's how we are going to win in the industry.
Thank you so much. So that means the only way we are going to amplify our voices as women is if we are knowledgeable and we go into those spaces, we know our craft. Do we all agree, ladies? Do we know our craft? I'm seeing so many female producers in here, and I'm like, yeah, we need to clap for ourselves. I'm a female producer in making. I'd like to open the floor to the audience. If you have any questions or compliments that you'd like to share, we only have 5 minutes before the panel does their last remarks, and then we go into the next segment. Do we have any questions or any compliments or any advice about the topic for today? Yes, please.
Yeah. Thank you. My name is Tiaba Charles. Thank you, Women in Film. This is a good initiative. Mine is going to be an encouragement to women. I've worked with women as actors and as people behind the camera. What I've seen, or what I want to encourage women to get away from, is the thinking of I am a woman. I've met that several times. when you talk to somebody to mean business about something, it's like, maybe he's talking to me because I'm a woman. So that one, I mean, you're holding yourself back, and you shouldn't. I like Eleanor. I mean, I can give a reference because I've been seeing her from a distance, then close. That charisma is something which is lacking in women, and we should develop it. When you are in charge of a production, take charge. When I come to give you an idea, I can have an idea on your thing, and then, I mean, like, you receive it and don't, I mean, drop it drop it down. I mean, you don't say that he is telling me because maybe he thinks I don't know because I'm a woman. I've made that several times, and get out of that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Do you have anyone else? Either a question or compliment or advice? Okay, so we have 2, 3, 4, 5. But then, this side, what was happening? I'm seeing all the hands are coming from this side. Eh?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Pamela Kiriako. I'm a film director. I am not yet a producer, but I am heading there. So, so I just want to add on to what Eleanor and Lucky have said, and also package it with what Mr. Tiaba has said. Let me start with Eleanor. It does help when you hold a certain position.
Have you got Kenneth Mugabe?
Yes, my name is Nkamba Robert. I am the director of Media Vision Academy. It's a film school based in Zambia, and I'm very glad to be here. First of all, I want to commend the ladies that are presented today. It's quite amazing. Your presentation is beautiful. When somebody who has never heard about film, women in film, hears the testimonies that are coming from these beautiful ladies, he will not understand. We appreciate, and as a matter of fact, I can say that actually there are more women in film in Uganda than men. Yes, I recently carried out an audition for something I was going to shoot. I didn't take statistics, but almost like 70% were women, which means there's a stronger force of women in the film industry in Uganda. However, the women, being given the experience I have in training, because I've been in film training for a number of years, Media Vision has been around for now, we are going to celebrate 10 years, but we have had very few female students at our academy. I don't know whether it is because the women are fearing the school or they are fearing me, but I don't know what's happening in other schools, but the experience is showing that there are fewer women in the film schools in Uganda. So as we are throwing out the voice of the women in the film industry, we need to think about training as well. If there are women, young girls, who would like to join the industry, and they have certain issues that are preventing them to join the film industry, probably education in the film industry, something needs to be done to support them. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Hello, hi, my name is Barbara, and I'm from GZK, Gote Centrum, Kampala. And I have a question with God.